Good Shabbos and good Yantif. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. Throughout the story associated with Passover, we see Moses confronting Pharaoh. Moses repeatedly says in God's name, Shlach et ami v'yavduni, Shlach et ami v'yavduni. Let my people go that they may serve me. Not simply, let my people go, but that they may serve me. Always the vision that Moses is bringing is not only that the people will be free, but that the people will be dedicated to something bigger than themselves, something bigger than Pharaoh, and certainly something other than Pharaoh. At times, that vision of serving God is described as going to God's holy mountain and offering devotions or sacrifices there. And ever since Passover, we have been walking through the season of the counting of the 50 days of the Omer, leading up to Shavuot. That count paralleling the walking through the wilderness, heading towards Mount Sinai. In part of the Torah reading for Shavuot, which is now, we read at the beginning of Exodus chapter 19, B'chodesh shlishi letzet b'nei Yisrael me'eretz Mitzrayim b'yom hazeh, on the third new moon after the children of Israel had gone out from the land of Egypt. On that day, they came to the wilderness of Sinai. This is the largest clue we have as to the timing of the events at Sinai. The account of when Moses goes up on the mountain to receive instruction, which is a translation of the word Torah, to receive instruction in the form of words spoken and written. At the beginning of the third month, followed then by some days of preparation. And Shavuot is set by the Torah as a harvest festival for the beginning of the first fruits. One of the three pilgrimage festivals to Jerusalem, Passover, Shavuot, Sukkot. Is it coincidence that we have a major festival scheduled exactly at the same time as one of the as we have this major agricultural festival scheduled at the same time that it seems this Sinai event took place? Each of those three festivals has a heavy agricultural component and an element of our people's founding story. Passover clearly is described as and centers around the Exodus from Egypt. Sukkot is specifically mentioned as a reminder of our people living in temporary houses as we wandered 40 years in the wilderness. Shavuot here is hinted to be the time of the giving of the Torah at Sinai, our entering into the covenant between us and God as defined by the Torah. And thousands of years of tradition beyond the text has developed that idea firmly. Although Sinai isn't a one-time, one-day event, in the Torah itself, it happens over many days. 3 days of preparation, 40 days and 40 nights of Moses on the mountain. Moses returns and shatters the tablets in anger upon seeing the people worshiping the golden calf. Then Moses going up the mountain again, symbolizing reconciliation between us and God, and staying another 40 days and nights to bring down tablets of Torah again. This need not be described as an historical event. It may not best be described as an historical event. It is a mythic event, one way or another. An event which in some ways is an ever ongoing event, a happening that has continued to happen in an ongoing way. Not only is the timing vague, but we do not even really know where it happened, where Mount Sinai is. How intriguing that this event of such consequence and significance to us does not happen inside the land of Israel. It happens outside the land, on a mountain whose specific location is not remembered by our tradition. The mountain called Mount Sinai today is recounted in Christian and Muslim tradition. We don't hold to that per se, any more than we see the Islamic site which is called the Tomb of Moses. We don't see that as the Tomb of Moses. Our tradition rejects that claim specifically. The Torah makes clear no one knows where Moses is buried. And our tradition makes no claim about which mountain is Sinai. The timing is recalled as the night of Shavuot. And yet there is something mystical about the entire happening. So that the fact that we have no clear idea of the place and the timing doesn't seem to be confined to one night. Perhaps it is best understood as a mythic event. And there is something mystical about the entire happening. Tradition teaches that the souls of all of us throughout time who received Torah were there receiving Torah. All of us received our Torah there. Every prophet, says Midrash, every prophet received his or her Torah there. Every teacher and student of Torah received their Torah there. Is it that all of our souls were transmigrated there at that moment in time when Torah was given, regardless of when we lived on earth? Or is it that Sinai is happening throughout time? Whenever we learn Torah, we are there again. Maybe Sinai happens every time a student studies Torah. Every time we read Torah from the Bimah and people listen below to hear the words. The Torah service itself is set up as a reenactment of sorts, a reenactment of hearing Torah at Sinai, a reenactment of the tablets in the ark being transported through the wilderness and eventually brought to Jerusalem, a reenactment of other ancient Torah readings. The night of Shavuot is described as a sacred moment when the heavens open up and are most receptive to prayer, because on that night the heavens cracked open so that Torah could come down. And we are encouraged to study Torah late into the night on Erev Shavuot, because when we study Torah, we are at Sinai again. Exodus 19 continues, saying, "The children of Israel entered the wilderness of Sinai and encamped in the wilderness. They encamped in front of the mountain, and Moses went up to God. Adonai called to him from the mountain, saying, 'Thus shall you say to the house of Jacob and declare to the children of Israel.'" Midrash says that the words children of Israel, Bnei Yisrael, which can also be translated as the sons of Israel, Midrash says this indicates the men, while the words Beit Yaakov, house of Jacob, refer to the women who were so integral to maintaining Jewish homes throughout Jewish history. So that collectively these words are directed to all of Israel, all the men and all the women, all of us, especially when we study and live out Torah. This is described in the poem by the Reconstructionist Jewish poet who lived in Minneapolis, Ruth Brin, whose poem, Jews Around the World, was included in the Reconstructionist prayer book. You can find it on page 779, or you can just listen. She writes, "Who are these Jews? There were women who sat in the market selling beets and cabbages so their men could study. They were Jews. There were men of Yemen, great swordsmen, guards of the king. They were Jews. There are dark women from India wearing saris, black farmers from Ethiopia, children with slanted eyes, all Jews. There are dressmakers and sculptors, thieves and philanthropists, scholars and nurses, beggars and generals. There are women who follow every rule of kashrut, and men who know none of the rules, yet all of us are Jews. Though we are not alike in mind or body, somewhere in the depths of our souls, we know we are the children of one people. We share a history, a hope, and some prayers. We speak many languages. We have heard one voice. All of us stood together at Sinai when our past and our future exploded in thunder and flame before us. All of us stood together at Sinai when, as we read in Exodus 19, God said to tell all the women and all the men, "You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to me. Therefore, if you will if you will hear and listen to my voice and guard my covenant, you will be for me a treasure among all the peoples, for all the earth is mine, and you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation." And there we have our mission statement: to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, a community that represents and embodies something more and greater than ourselves. What exactly that looks like is the subject of all the rest of Torah. Not only what is written and studied and read, but also what is debated and spoken and lived. We are constantly wrestling the answers out in the great conversation between us and our texts, between us and each other, and in the way we figure out how to live our tradition in the present moment. As long as we continue the wrestle, and don't simply stop. I recently came across a book I'm only beginning to work my way into, but the title itself says so much. Religion as a Chain of Memory. Religion as a Chain of Memory, by the French scholar Daniel Herveau-Leguet. The premise is that religious tradition is a frame that shapes the collective memory of an entire community and passes that down through the generations. And also that we live in a society today that suffers from a tremendous degree of amnesia. Judaism is a chain of memory. That memory is passed down from generation to generation through the life and learning of Jewish community. And this is precisely why I am so concerned with what Jewish community looks like and what Jewish community upholds and does and learns. This is why I talk about Jewish community so much, because it is the community that shapes our Torah. Our Torah is community, a chain of memory passed down through community. And when the community of Israel is living out and learning and teaching Torah, then the divine presence is there. One of the songs we started this service with tonight is an Aramaic song adapted from the Zohar, this major mystical book. Yisrael v'oraita kudsha brichu chadhu. Yisrael and Torah and the Holy Blessed One are one. The community, the teaching, and the Shekhinah. When the community of Israel, Yisrael, is living out Oraita, Aramaic for Torah, when the community of Israel is living out Torah, God is there. That is why I keep coming back to community. The presence of God is there. When we as a community are manifesting that presence, living out Torah. It behooves us tonight then on Shavuot to ask, what should our community look like? Because that is what our Torah looks like. What our community looks like, that is the Torah we are hearing from Sinai tonight. And that is the word coming into the world through us today. What is our community to look like? And what are we hearing at Sinai? It's the same question. So I invite us to contemplate those questions. What is our community to look like? What Torah are we hearing at Sinai? As we continue with our celebration of Shavuot, I'd like us to rise, and I will engage in one more practice that is connected to Shavuot, the reading of the Ten Commandments. We conclude with that. God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make unto yourself a graven image, nor any manner of likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down unto them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the ancestors upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, yet showing mercy unto the 1,000th generation of them that love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes God's name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath unto the Lord your God. In it you shall not do any manner of work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger that is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and the sea, and all that is in them. And God rested on the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the 7th day and made it holy. Honor your father and mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God gives you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor your neighbor's manservant, nor maidservant, nor ox, nor donkey, nor anything that is your neighbor's. And all the people saw the thunder and the lightning, and the voice of the shofar, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled and stood far off. And they said to Moses, You speak with us, and we will hear. But don't let God speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said to the people, Do not fear, for God has come to test you, that God's reverence may be before you, that you do not transgress. And the people stood far off, but Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where God was. Shabbat Shalom. Chag Sameach.